We're here to make a new type of news.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Making news just for you. It's September 12th here in Seoul. I'm Shin, and this is News Generation, where we make the news at Arirang's very own open studio. Every morning, we'll discuss the top issues and latest current affairs affecting people in their 20s and 30s. Joining me in the studio is Nal Song.
Good morning.
Good morning, and Park Ki-hoon.
Thank you for having me.
Now, both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. As usual, let's start with our news feed, which covers different hashtags and news items that have been trending on social media over the past 24 hours. Yesterday was September 11th. 22 years ago on that day, nearly 3,000 innocent people died in the deadliest terror attack on U.S. soil. Commemorations happened at the attack sites ranging from the New York's World Trade Center and the Pentagon. President Joe Biden visited a military base in Anchorage in the state of Alaska following his trip to India and Vietnam. Moving on to the second story. Japan's youngest professional Go player, Sumire Nakamura, has made it clear that she wanted to move her base to South Korea, mainly because South Korea is home to the top Go players in the world. Nakamura has already submitted an application to the Korea Paduk Association to register herself as a visiting Go player. If the application goes through, she will be the first Go player to transfer abroad from Japan. Sumire Nakamura is now just 14. Back in February, she became the youngest title holder after winning the Women's Gisei title. And last but not least, over the weekend, students from two of the country's top universities brought their school spirit to the next level at their annual sports event. This annual derby involves two schools that have a decades-long friendly rivalry. At the event, though, some students from the school's branch campuses said they've experienced discrimination. Unlike students from the main campus located in Seoul, those from branch campuses in rural parts of Korea were banned from preparing for the official events. Also, the student union from the branch campuses didn't have much say or didn't get as many admission tickets. Now, tension between main campus and branch campus students has always been a thing in Korea. That mainly has to do with Korea's hyper-competitive education environment and its emphasis on university titles. Though a school may use the same name, if they have separate campuses, students from the main campus consider those from a branch one to be from a separate institution, which is mainly because they follow a different admission process and have a lower cut line. So I'd now like to expand the news feed here to the studio. Ki-hoon, what did you think about this news story?
I do understand both sides, but we already know, Korea is a very hierarchical society and very competitive in the education industry. But look, it's great that the main campus students have that much pride because, right, they did put in that extra effort to get into a prestigious university to start off with. But that doesn't give them the right to discriminate or look down on any other branch students or just other students in general. So look, if you think highly of yourself, if you think you're the better or the bigger person, you need to be a bit more accepting and understanding to become that kind of person. But I personally think it's the school's kind of responsibility from the administration. They should set clearer guidelines as to how much they will include branch campus students into these main branch campus events, so these conflicts never really arise in the first place.
Right, because they do use the same name.
Right.
It's just the location is different, and then there's those parentheses where say, actually, we're not in the main campus, we're in a branch campus with a different cut line. So it is a contentious issue. And now, as mentioned before, though, it's not new. Like tension and discrimination between main campus and branch campus students has always been a thing, right?
Yeah, but honestly, like you mentioned, in society, there's always been people who are into the hierarchy of different universities. But in the end, when you're a part of society and you're working, it's not that important in the end. And so I think, people making snide remarks about what kind of university you're a part of or if you're from a branch, I really think it's all silly. And in the end, I think the universities are to blame for these because when they want to make a branch, it's really for the money. They want to expand the school and they put it in a different region. and they make this discrimination happen. So I really think that this is really, we can just blame it on the administration, like Hyun was saying.
Just to play devil's advocate, though, I do understand why universities are trying to expand their campuses, especially in Korea outside of Seoul, because in Korea, most prestigious universities are concentrated in Seoul. That's why there's this term in Seoul universities. But nowadays, we're seeing more prestigious universities trying to have branch campuses in rural areas to develop those areas too. So there are definitely some economic advantages changes to that, and it's an issue we'll have to keep our eyes on for a very long time. But until now, that was our news feed for this Tuesday. Let's now head into our main discussion topic of the day. From the bustling streets of Seoul to the vibrant neighborhoods of New York City, the culinary world is abuzz with the rise of two iconic Korean dishes, kimbap and ramyun. Let's find out why. This roll is making waves worldwide. It's kimbap, sometimes referred to as Korean sushi. Wrapped in a sheet of seaweed that has steamed rice, vegetables, and different types of meat in it, the easy-to-make snack has taken the U.S. market by storm. Back in August, the American grocery chain, Traderjoes, introduced frozen kimbap products. Videos of people trying it out have since gone viral. Now, customers are having to wait till October because these frozen rolls sold out like hotcakes, and Trader Joe's is waiting for new arrivals. A food that goes well with kimbap and has been garnering much popularity is ramyun. This spicy noodle is always a steady food export of Korea. In a few days' time, it will hit its 60th anniversary. The influence of kimbap and ramyun is not limited to Korea. Restaurants and food vendors in major cities across the world are incorporating these dishes into their menus. From Los Angeles to London, these Korean delights are taking the culinary world by storm. And let's first focus on kimbap, which has been a big hit in the United States. Nell, tell us more.
Right, so this is a recent trend and everybody has been running to this specific store. It's a chain in the US and this Korean company exported about 4.5 tons of kimbap to the States and it sold out within days.
Wow.
I actually saw this YouTuber who and an influencer who went to go buy these frozen kimbaps.
Yeah.
First day she went, all sold out, and asked the manager, when can I get them? They told her to come back the next day. She went back, already sold out. Third day, open run. She goes and gets this kimbap, puts her hands on it, and she tastes it. And, you know, everybody really, really likes them. So I really think there's, you know, various aspects to this. It's the Korean media, K-pop, and everybody being exposed to it, but also because it's vegan. A lot of the kimbaps that's being exported, it's difficult to export meat products.
Right.
So they decided to make it vegan, kind of using tofu, the fried tofu, or also known as yubu, into the kimbap so that it's vegan friendly, it's easy, and it's quick to eat. You just microwave it a little bit, so it's a great snack.
I'm happy that your friend finally got a hold of this kimbap in 3 days. She had to do an open run though for frozen kimbap.
Open run for kimbap.
No, amongst the Korean public though, it's quite fascinating to hear that frozen kimbap rolls could be such a thing.
I know.
Because they're frozen.
Exactly, but I think, you know, because of its convenience, we find them here in convenience stores a lot, but
all the
I
time.
think it's kind of a new phenomenon in the States.
Speaking of it being a new phenomenon, there have been many Korean Americans who found a business angle to this surge in demand for kimbap and Korean food. So we're going to be including one chef who has jumped onto this K-food trend in the States to find out just how popular Korean classics like kimbap are at the moment. To find out how popular Korean classics like kimbap are in the States, we're going to include a Korean American who has his own kimbap restaurant in California. It's Dan on. Welcome, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Thanks for having me. Hello.
All right, so Dan, how did kimbap become so popular in the States? As Nell mentioned, I hear many people had to wait in line to get Trader Joe's frozen kimbap rolls, right?
Yeah, it's a little crazy. Actually, I feel like it kind of came out of nowhere. One day I heard about this Trader Joe's kimbap, and the next day it seems like everybody wants it and it's all sold out. But yeah, it's been very popular, and a lot of people have been even coming to our restaurant asking about kimbap just because I guess they've seen it on social media and things like that.
Yeah, and did you actually try them out as a Korean and a chef? Did you find anything special or specific about these frozen kimbap products?
Yeah, I did try it, and I mean, it was good. It wasn't like, you know, fresh handmade, you know, rolls or anything like that, but it was still very good. And, you know, I think the thing that's very special for that one is like, you know, it's the first time I've seen it as a kind of a ready to eat or, you know, frozen kimbap that's been marketed to the American public, not just Korean people or Asian people. And the fact that you can buy this for like $4 and just eat it anytime you want, just put it in the microwave, whatever. I think that's really cool, and I think that's the thing that's really special about it.
And nothing beats a fresh kimbap though.
I wish people
definitely
can
not.
actually try real kimbap apart from the frozen kimbap, because we all know here, including yourself, Dan, how amazing kimbap just tastes, especially when it's not frozen, right?
For sure.
Dan, you've had a
But,
kimbap place. Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
You've had a kimbap place even before this surge. But do you think the Trader Joe's frozen kimbap products attracted more customers to your restaurant? Or from when did you see a sudden spike in demand for Korean food in the States?
I think it's a little bit of both. Definitely, I think there's people who have seen it now that are very interested in it. But I think we've been getting, I think because of K-pop and, dramas. I mean, after the Extraordinary Attorney Wu, Kimbap was a big part of it.
Yeah.
I had a lot of people come who aren't even, Korean or Asian or anything like that. They come and they're asking, oh, I saw this on this drama. I want to try it. Do you have it here? And things like that. So I think, people are starting to know more about it. And it's not just Korean sushi anymore. It's actually going to be kimbap. They just kind of call it what it is. So it's been cool to see that.
Exactly. You mentioned a great point. We no longer refer to it as Korean sushi. It just became a Korean dish, kimbap. And not just kimbap, though. I think Korean food has garnered so much popularity across the world, as you mentioned, thanks to K-pop and K-dramas. But what do you think, just by like the palate itself, what do you think Korean dishes, why are they so attractive to Americans at the moment?
I think it's a good combination of flavors. Some of it's spicy, some of it's not, just a little bit sweetness, there's some saltiness, there's a lot of everything going on. So people are gonna like it, whatever their tastes are. I think there's also a lot of different, different types of food, things that are like more meat heavy, more vegan friendly, things like that. And it's all, delicious and it's healthy. So I think, all of that is kind of contributing to like, it fits it's kind of a new palette, but like it also still fits, I think, a lot of what's popular amongst the foodies and things like that in the United States.
And hopefully it'll continue to, see its popularity across the world. Until then, thank you so much, Dan. Hope to talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Dan.
Right. Now, apart from kimbap, another popular Korean dish that is soon to mark its 60th anniversary, that is ramyun. And this goes hand in hand with kimbap. I also love eating both of them together. So, Kyun, could you tell us a bit more about ramyun and how it's a steady seller among all Korean food exports?
When we talk about K-food, a lot of foreigners firstly think about bulgogi, bibimbap, or even kimchi as a side dish. But among us Koreans, like ramen is the soul food.
It is the soul food.
Well, especially for me. And I believe ramen will continue its legacy for the next 60 years and so on. But to give you some facts, according to Korea Agro-Fisheries and Food State Corporation and Korea Customs Service, export sales for the first half of the year have been on the rise every year since 2015.
Wow.
And this year, there was a 17.7% jump from last year's record high export sales. So we can clearly say this is becoming a global popularity of ramyun. And the main driving force behind this would have to be the spread of K content, just like how what Dan just mentioned. And I think it's not only from the success of Squid Game, the movie Parasite, and just even a BTS member eating his favorite cup noodles on like SNS live streaming. I think ramyun is quite affordable, and it's an easily made meal as well, with so many like different kinds of flavors and spiciness level. So I think it's something that many MZers look out for when they want to try out new food, like different tastes. Is it affordable? Is it accessible? Is it easy to eat? And also the spicy level as well.
And I think it's really fascinating to note that a lot of K-pop stars take on the trend of ramyun because they have their own recipes. Like they mix different ramyuns together, and then as a fan, you want to try out what your celebrity has trying out. And it's really affordable too, as Kyun mentioned. And we asked our viewers if they've tried out kimbap or ramyun as well. And here's what 3 of them had to share with us. Take a look at the screen to find out. So Lon said the best one has got to be 불닭 carbonara. It's so good that you think think it wasn't instant food. I agree. I really like that one too. Toby said Samyang original because of the almost smoky flavor. As for kimbap, I like my own with pickled radish, carrot, spinach, egg, and crab-flavored pollock, rice with vinegar, and of course kim, which is dried seaweed. And Nambia said, hi, from Detroit, USA. My favorite ramen is hot fish flavor, and I've never tasted real Korean kimbap. Well, Nambia, it'd be really nice if you try to go to the States and get Trader Joe's frozen kimbap with your ramen. And as our viewers mentioned, there's just so many different types of flavors for ramen. But what do you guys think makes Korean kimbap and ramen stand out from similar dishes to around the world?
I think all the instant noodles from around the world have their own distinct taste, but for Koreans, you kind of have to pack your own instant noodle if you're traveling, because it kind of, there's this point that hits you. It's maybe it's the spiciness of it. It kind of, we call it being resolved. Like it's almost like there's some sort of tension in you that doesn't get resolved, relieved until you have this kind of spiciness. And I think that's kind of the selling point. Of course, we have lots of other flavors that aren't spicy as well, but I would say that's kind of the trademark of the Korean noodles. But going back to kimbap as well, like we were saying, sometimes people used to call it Korean sushi, which is not really a thing. It's a combination of two things. It's kind of like the Japanese futomaki and like the Korean kimbap, but they're actually kind of different depending on what kind of ingredients you put into it. So I think we don't use raw fish in kimbap. It can be anything from, like we said, fried tofu, it could be ham, it can be cheese, tuna, but it's like that. There's this differentiation in the ingredients that we use, and I
guess the biggest differentiation with sushi would be that on the side, like on the top, it's not white rice.
It's not.
It's seaweed, dried seaweed, kim. Would you like to add on what makes kimbap and ramen distinctive from other dishes?
Well, you know, kimbap and ramen go well together so well. It's just like burger and fries. And it's the norm in Korea to order kimbap and ramen together as a set menu, especially when you're really hungry, because it's really filling. You have the rice, the noodles, the soup, and the different vegetables and so on. And there are similar dishes across Asia, from like the Japanese ramen and udon, and of course the Vietnamese rice noodle pho, which is also very tasty and affordable. But what makes Korean ramen very different and unique is the different variety and the twist you can put in. So for example, we have like cheese ramen.
Oh, I love cheese ramen.
There you go. Some people might cringe like cheese.
Some people really like
Try it, guys. It's
you can customize it.
Exactly. And then we also have red snow crab ramen. So you add all like sorts of seafood in it.
I'm getting so excited.
And then we have the black bean ramen, japaguri. Oh, you know what japaguri is?
It's a combination of two different.
Right. That's the thing. It's the one that everyone saw from the movie Parasite.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's a mixture of the black bean noodles with the normal traditional ramen, and of course, I think with ramen, once you finish the noodles, you have the soup left. And when you're feeling extra hungry, you add rice to it.
Of course.
Yes.
And once you have rice, it's super filling.
It is.
But you do regret it after eating too much.
The calories are too
high. For some reason, Koreans like to add the cold leftover rice in there. And for some reason, that tastes better than fresh, fresh out of the pot rice.
And to top it off with kimchi as side dish, that's like the perfect Korean traditional meal.
You guys have to try it out. And I guess for Koreans, like, we're having so much fun just talking about these dishes, right? And that's because they have a special meaning to us. And also, they're go-to picnic dishes that we would pack when we were children, right?
Yeah, I mean, when we would go on picnics, everybody's mom would kind of pack a different kimbap, and it's like their specialty. Oh, like somebody would put ham, somebody would put shrimp. I've had shrimp kimbap. It's kind of like my mom's thing, but that was good. But then when I moved abroad, my mom kept packing kimbap for like school lunches, and people thought it was really strange, or even thought that it smelled bad. But look how the table has turned and everybody's enjoying it, and I'm so glad that people are coming in and enjoying our culture now.
Yeah, and as you can see on the screen right now, it's just so easy to make. I think that's why it's a popular go-to picnic food. Kim, would you like to share your experience with what kimbap and ramen means to you?
Yeah, so with kimbap, as you can see on the screen right now, once you roll it, you cut it into small slices, small pieces. So when you go on a picnic, the fun thing about eating kimbap with other people is that you can share it around. And it's very easy to just use your chopsticks and just take one slice each. And I think that's the whole point of having kimbap. It's that experience of eating together and sharing this wonderful Korean food.
And apart from kimbap and ramyun, guys, there's so many other Korean dishes that I would love to see garner popularity around the world. Would you guys like to recommend any of your personal favorites?
So this one is actually, I love this so much and I hope everybody gets to try it. But with tteokbokki, there's this assortment of fried things that come out and there's this thing called kimmari. Kind of sounds similar to kimbap because kim is the seaweed. So what they do is take kim, the seaweed part, and then put cellophane noodles, roll it up and fry it.
Oh.
Anything fried is just mwah, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
so-
fry a shoe or a sock, it still tastes good.
Yeah, you fry it, you dip it in the tteokbokki sauce, and it's
I really
you
want
have to try it. Yeah, it's delicious.
Okay, so kimmari is Nell's personal favorite. What about you, Kyun?
Sorry. With me,
Boring.
my suggestion, recommendation would be 닭 한 마리.
Oh, I love
닭 means chicken.
Yep.
한 마리 just means one whole chicken. So it's
Yep.
basically
One whole chicken.
it's a whole chicken stew, like with different sorts of vegetables. Once you finish the chicken, you can add noodles, just like ramyun, but we call it kalguksu.
Yeah,
It's a different type of noodles with the white soup, and also you can top it off with fried rice on the same pot.
Yep.
Once you finish the noodles, so it's basically like a 3-in-1 dish.
Right.
Of course, it's very affordable. So for anyone who wants to try some sort of chicken, noodles, and rice, 닭 한 마리 is your go-to Korean dish.
And it goes very well with kimchi too.
The freshly made
And
kimchi.
soju.
And soju. It's also a great hangover cure. All right, and we'll be here every day from 9:30 to 10 a.m. Korea time, bringing you more topics young people are talking about. Special thanks to Nell Song
No problem.
and Park Ki-hoon.
Always a pleasure.
All right, and thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. We are
News Generation.